What's good, people? Welcome to the video. It's Naths, and in today's video we are going to be stepping into some dangerous territory, right? The territory of fairies and rainbows. Now, I'm joking. As you could tell from the title, we are going to be talking about some K-pop today, and mainly its influence on China. So when it comes to K-pop, obviously I'm not the biggest fan, I know like literally one band, BTS, and that's because they went on some like big ass world tour, like I think last year or the year before or something like that, or it went on for 2 years. I have no idea, right? But I know they're like basically the biggest band in the world. K-pop's a big thing. Yeah, I'm sure you guys probably know it. Well, I mean, the ones that aren't here to attack me, right? I'm sure the rest of you probably know it because there was like a group of girls in your school that were just obsessed with everything K-pop and just listened to all of it, and yeah, that's how I know about it, because I knew a couple of those girls, and yeah, they just tried to force their music on everybody else. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to K-pop, like I say, I'm not the biggest fan. Obviously, like when I'm a music lover, so when I did hear of K-pop and BTS in particular, I was interested. Of course, I wanted to see how they could get this big, because obviously I understand China's obviously a massive place with a lot of people, and Asia in general, so it makes sense for bands to be that big in Asia, but obviously they were like massive around the world. So being the music lover I am, I decided to go give it a gander, see if I can like any of these songs. And I mean, other than the beat, don't know what they're saying, and just not a fan of that style of music in the first place, right? But the main thing that I noticed when I went to look at a couple of these bands, right, is that I can't tell if they're boys or girls. I genuinely can't. I got recommended a boy band, which was BTS, right, and then there was some other girl band, right, and I couldn't really tell the difference, right, because what I've noticed in K-pop, right, there are these girl bands that have that look like girls, and they're dressed up like girls, and then there are these other ones that some of them are like dressed up like girls, but some of them have like really short hair, and I just can't tell. I just can't tell, because then you look at the boy bands, and you look at the guys that are in them, and they have obviously some of them have short hair, some of them have really long hair. They've got the earrings, the makeup, the lipstick, the nail bro, they're traps. Just straight up, I'm gonna say it, they're just traps, right? And that immediately put me off, because I was just like, what is this? This is a strange part of music I don't really want to get involved in. So that immediately kind of just put me off of K-pop just indefinitely. And apparently I'm not the only one that thinks that, because over in China, a very worried former teacher has decided to create a club called the Real Men Training Club to combat what he and other people in China see as a sort of masculinity crisis, which has been brought upon them by the influence of K-pop in China, and these boy bands in China that have been influenced by them and have taken on their looks. And honestly, I just think this is hilarious, right? Because I knew something like this was going to happen eventually, because like I said, right, and if you guys don't know, I mean, I'll have pictures, right? I would have probably most likely put pictures up of these bands, right? But they don't look, they look like girls, right? And some of the girls look like boys. It's weird, right? They wear people know this, right? They wear makeup, they wear nail polish, it's weird, right? The whole thing is just weird, right? You can do whatever you want to do, right? It's your choice, but I find it weird. It's just weird, right? The whole thing, I understand, rock stars back in the day, they would wear like nail polish and things. I mean, I still found that weird. So it's not like a double standard here just because they're Asian or whatever, right? But it's just the whole thing's weird, right? And in China, obviously China is a country where they're very controlling over their populace, and they want to insert certain ideals and things like that. I mean, like every country really does. But yeah, with China, obviously they do have another level of control over their people. And yeah, it's a very, obviously China's a very, very conservative country, and they don't particularly like seeing these boy bands who wear, like long earrings and have the hair and the colored hair and the lipstick and the nail and the concealer, all of it, right? The makeup, everything. They don't like seeing these people being kind of idolized and portrayed as kind of like what boys are supposed to be. And in an attempt to try and combat this, one gentleman, like I said, has decided to create a training camp for young boys to go to, and he is going to attempt to teach them how to be alpha men. You know, while reading the article, they only gave like one example of kind of what he would make them do to become alpha men, or whatever he thinks an alpha man is supposed to be. And one of the examples they gave is that it was like really early in the morning, like just as the sun was coming up, and they all had to run around the park for like 20 minutes with their shirts off, right? So I mean, that just seems like punishment. I don't really know how that's supposed to teach them how to become alpha men. If anything, I feel like it'll make them resent the idea of becoming alpha men more, which is why I've always found these like camps to be strange. Like these, like, you know how they have like those gay camps and things like that. It just doesn't make any sense, because it's like, if you send people to things like those, all it's gonna do is reinforce the fact that what they wanted, like, it's just gonna make them resent what you want them to do. You know, whenever they send their kids to like Christian camps and things like that, it's just like things like that don't work. If you're forcing somebody to do something, they're just gonna resent what you want them to be and go towards, you know, whatever they were to begin with in the first place. But anyway, what I first honestly thought of when I heard about this article being created was like these skinny little Asian kids with like with the hair and the earrings and shit and all the makeup just getting screamed at by like this drill sergeant, like, and them having to do push-ups and shit and just crying. And honestly, I'm a terrible person, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a terrible person, but things like that just amuse me, you know. I think it's just absolutely hilarious. And it actually says in the article that the guy who created it, I'm just not even going to try and say his name, so sorry, but him and the other leaders I guess he has in the club, they lead the boys in chest beating exercises while they're running and make them wear headbands and things. And obviously they do like the whole shouting thing, you know, that like people do, like, you know, military service people do when they're marching, you know, to, I guess, keep them motivated. I'm not really sure why I think that's why, it makes sense. But yeah, so apparently they literally run around in a circle and beat to their chests like gorillas. So yeah, I just think it's hilarious. If I ever saw, I'm just picturing it in my head, right? Imagine you go out, it's early in the morning, don't really know why you'd be outside. Maybe you're waiting for a bus or something, right? About to go to work, and there's a park behind you or something, right? I don't know. You're in a park early in the morning, right? And you see like two men running around in a circle with like 12 boys behind them, just beating their chest, screaming like, "We are the best, we are real men." That would kill me. I'd die. That is one of the funniest things I could ever imagine seeing in my entire life. So that's pretty much the end of the video, guys. I found this whole thing hilarious. I thought I'd share it with you guys. You know, sorry to anyone that I've offended. You probably aren't listening to the video anymore. Probably already left a dislike, left you a little hate comment or whatever. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe and all of that. And yeah, catch you guys in the next one.